Hey everyone, Amanda Williams, MD, MPH, here with you today, and I want to talk about the other omega 3 fatty acids. Sometimes when we think of omega 3s, we get trapped into that tunnel vision of just thinking fish oil or flax, or krill oil. But today I want to talk in particular about flaxseed and just how powerful flax really is. So, this is a great option for anyone out there who is all about plant based nutrients because we're talking flax here. So, say for example, maybe you don't want to take fish oil, but you're still interested in getting your omega 3s every day, then flax is your answer. Now, we have our organic flaxseed powder. Now, this is a really great formulation because number one, it's organic, so that's always important. We want to make sure that we're not putting any pesticides, any chemicals, anything like that into our body. So that's always first and foremost. But it's got 10 grams of flaxseed in it. And the reason why this is important is because we see the research. And I'm going to tell you about a really awesome study that showed what 10 grams of flaxseed for just 1 month, yes, 1 month of flaxseed, 10 grams per day, what that can actually do for you. But first, let's talk a little bit more about flax. So when we think about the omega 3 fatty acids, we know that they are essential. We have to have omega 3s, and we know that the standard American diet definitely lacks adequate omega 3 intake. So if you were to do your fatty acid profile, the likelihood that you have even close to normal fatty acids, not probably that good. I've looked at enough lab tests over the many years I've been doing this to know that the average American, when they look at their fatty acids, it's usually a 20 to 1 ratio, meaning 20 omega 6 for every 1 omega 3, which is not good at all. We should be at basically a 2 to 1, 2 omega 6 to 1 omega 3. In a perfect world, even if we could get that to 4 to 1, that would be really great. But most people, way off the mark. So, what does that actually mean for you? Well, when we think about the role of omega 3 fatty acids, we know that they're very beneficial and very powerful when it comes to easing inflammation. So, if we look at it just like a teeter totter, for example, so take yourself back to childhood and think about, going out to the park and being on a teeter totter. So if we think about what the omega 6s do, they can maybe drive up the inflammation. Now, so the more omega 3s that we have, the more we can offset the potential negative impact that those omega 6s are having, driving up that inflammation. Remember, chronic low grade inflammation is at the heart of every single chronic disease. So we need to nip that in the bud. We do not want to have excess chronic inflammation. Remember, there's a difference. Acute inflammation, that is the type of inflammation that you're going to notice. You stub your toe, it gets swollen, you see it. Chronic inflammation, we usually don't see this, but we feel it in many different ways. So we can look at all the different ways that chronic inflammation impacts us. So we know that we need to get omega 3s in, which is why we go back to the flax, because flax is a really great option. And there's so many ways to incorporate in the organic flax powder. Now, we're not only getting the omega 3 fatty acids from this, but we are also yielding fiber. Yay, fiber, because we know that unlike many other places in the world, our fiber intake in this country, not good either. So we should be getting 30, 30 grams of fiber per day. The average American, maybe 5, maybe 10, if you're lucky. So one scoop, just one scoop of the organic flax yields you 3 grams. Yes, 3 grams of fiber. So, hey, we're already marching up our path towards that 30 grams per day. Now, this contains a whole beautiful spectrum of powerful things, including antioxidants. from lignans. You've probably heard of high flax lignans. Yes, the lignans, these are ubiquitous in the plant world, and they are very, very powerful, not only in terms of its antioxidant abilities, but also as a phytoestrogen, which is really important because when we look at maintaining kind of homeostasis or balance or equilibrium within our endocrine system, and we think about our hormones, this is where it's very, very helpful. So, even for some people who experience problems such as hot flashes, maybe you start using organic flax and you're like, I don't feel as though I'm getting as many hot flashes. It's because of those lignans. So that phytoestrogen component. So it's not actually changing your hormone levels, but it's mimicking the way that we need those hormones to work. So this is a wonderful, wonderful benefit of using the organic flax powder. Now, it also has vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E. We know that they are very important. It has magnesium, zinc. Start thinking about your immune system here. So, yeah, this is all contained in the organic flax powder. Now, maybe you think to yourself, what am I supposed to do? Just like take a scoop of that and just put it into water? Well, sure, you can. A lot of times, it's a really nice way to top off some organic yogurts. Maybe get some organic yogurt, put some beautiful berries on that, put a scoop of that flax on there. But there are other ways that you can utilize the flax. You can put it into a smoothie. And I want to just clue you in to ways that you can kind of incorporate certain products within InVite's line when it comes to your diet. So if you're on our website and you're scrolling and you see at the top all the different tabs, up at the right, there is a Learn tab. So you'll see the listen for listening to our radio programs and our podcasts, but then there's the Learn. So if you go to the Learn tab, you can click on that and then you'll see recipes. So if you click on the recipes, it gives you a whole host of different ways that you can use organic flax powder, the oranges HX, the greens HX, all of the different ways, beets HX, cocoa. So you can find all of the ways that you can incorporate this in to your daily routine. So that's just a little hint. Now, at the beginning, I said I wanted to talk a little bit about how 10 grams 10 grams, remember this is what ours contains, one scoop equals 10 grams. So there was a study, and this was published in the Journal of Diet Supplementation. And in this study, they took a group of diabetics and they said, we're going to split them up into two groups. So it was a double blind placebo controlled trial. One group was given flax, 10 grams of flax seed powder every day for 1 month. The other group was not given any flax. They assessed their blood work at the beginning of the study before giving them the flax and at the end, at 1 month out. What happened in that 1 month for the group that was taking the flax? Pause, think about this, let this set in. After 1 month, their hemoglobin A1C levels came down by 15%. Their fasting glucose, and remember, hemoglobin A1C, that's more of the long-term tracking of your blood glucose control. Their fasting glucose had come down by 19%. Their triglycerides, that's the circulating fat in the body, that came down by 17%. And their LDLs, that's your low density lipoproteins, came down by 21%. 1 month. 1 month of incorporating something incredibly healthy into their diet did all of that. And we're talking about diabetics who are probably on high cholesterol medication, who are definitely on medications for their blood sugar. And look at the transformation in 1 month from making one modification to their diet. Because think of the benefit that they're getting from that. Think about the vitamins and the minerals, and they're easing inflammation, and things are starting to function better. And we have that fiber, which helps to support healthy cholesterol transport. So this stuff is amazing. So I definitely encourage you to go to our website, check it out. Organic flaxseed powder. So many ways. Get creative in your kitchen if you want to. Make a little bread with it. You'll see the recipe. Remember, top of the website, the Learn tab, go to the recipe section. You will find how you can utilize the organic flax powder. Now, I will be back with you in a few more days to talk about more wonderful formulas available at InVite Health. Thank you.